Good afternoon. I want to talk today about why we were saved. Why was it that God paid such a costly price of giving His Son and giving His blood, as we talked about yesterday? Well, we were saved because God wanted us to have a relationship with Him. And we talk about that, but I don't think we always think through what that means. You see, God created us for His pleasure, Revelation says. And Ephesians tells us that He created us for good works that He determined ahead of time that we would do. Well, how do we bring pleasure to God? We bring pleasure to God by talking to Him, by being in relationship with Him. In other words, God called us and saved us because He desired us to walk in intimacy with Him. And intimacy is one of those things that we as believers hear about and it's mentioned, but we don't really understand the importance of it, and we haven't, it's not something that we have been taught how to do well. You see, intimacy takes time. Intimacy is something that you have to put effort into. If I want to please God, I have to know what it is that pleases Him. And how do I know what it is that pleases Him? I know it by spending time with Him. He has works for me that He wants me to do. How do I know what those works are? It's not everything. He doesn't expect me to go out and do absolutely everything. There are certain works that He created me for, and He specifically and uniquely gifted me and put in me everything that's needed for those. But what are those works? The only way I know that is as I spend time with Him. And that's the important thing that we need to learn how to do. We need to learn how to spend time with our God. Now that's difficult because our God doesn't have a physical body that we can sit with and talk to. But there is a table of inwardness. There is a place within our spirit that we can meet with God and hear from Him and learn from Him and understand what He has, what's on His heart. And we need to make a effort to every day be taking that time to meet with Him in that place, that secret place, that quiet place within our own spirit. And in February, I took about 64 people to a retreat center, and we had a retreat where we began to look at how and experience how to grow in intimacy with the Lord and how to grow in our spirit man, because God is spirit, and in order to know Him, in order to walk with Him, in order to understand Him, we have to do that in the spirit. And we had extended time where we would just sit in the presence of God, and many people for the first time actually could feel the Lord and hear the Lord, and they had experiences with the Lord they hadn't had. And that was just the beginning. You see, the reason for intimacy isn't just so we can feel good. Again, we have to get that humanistic understanding out of our mind. God isn't there for our benefit. We were created for His pleasure. And so as we go to the Lord, we get to know Him. We spend that time with Him, and we get to understand who our God is. In the beginning, we understand that God is love and God is grace because we experience Him in that way. But too many Christians sit back, and that's all the further they go. And then when God visits them, either in their nation, in their family, in a way that doesn't appear to be love and grace, they don't recognize it as God, and they get discouraged and they get frustrated, and many times they begin to doubt God. And why is that? Because they were never taught how to spend time with the Lord, and the fact that they have to take the time for that on a regular basis. Now in the beginning, that's going to be something that we actually set time aside to do. And in the beginning, even we may only be able to get that 10 minutes in before we start getting distracted, and we have to focus on getting our minds to focus on the Lord and bringing ourselves to that place of being able to hear and be quiet and be still. So there's a lot of effort involved in it. But then we begin to encounter the Lord. We begin to hear him. We begin to sometimes see him, and we begin to feel his presence, and we just want to sit there. And as we're growing, that is so important, that we just sit in his presence. However, understand the reason for intimacy isn't just to make us feel good. It's so that we can know God, and in knowing him, we can understand what his purposes for our lives is. You see, our intimacy grows, and we take a great effort in the beginning to make it grow. But as we grow in that intimacy becomes natural. And soon, you don't need to take the 4 hours or a weekend retreat away in order to meet with God. You are talking to him all the time, every day in your daily life. And everything that happens, you're hearing Holy Spirit talk to you, and you're understanding what the Lord's will is. And that comes with just practice. When you first meet somebody, you only know a little about them. It's the same with God. God wants us to enter into a time now where we are getting to know him as he is, as our Lord, meaning he has the absolute say. He has sovereign sway over everything, including our lives, our choices, our decisions. But he wants us to understand deeper his love, deeper his grace. He wants us to understand how he sees the world, how he views sin, how he feels about what's going on. And he wants to impart to us his knowledge, his understanding, because he didn't make us to sit back and just lay in the lap of luxury and enjoy life. He made us to rule and reign with him. And that's the key. We rule and reign with him. In order to do that, we have to know him. And so I want to challenge you, because God has allowed us to move in many, many things over these past years. But as the COVID virus came and the lockdown came, God began to be very clear that this was a transition, that he was changing things, that we were no longer from that point on going to be able to go back to anything. God is done with what was happened in the past, and he's now moving us into something that is new, something that has never been seen on the earth and experienced on the earth before. And God said that when he moves us into this transition, he said there is no going back. And even today, as I was just talking to the Lord this morning, I heard the Lord say, I have shut the door behind you. In other words, once we step through that door into this new season, God is going to shut the door so we can't go back, because it's not about what we did in the past. It's not about our past programs, our past accomplishments, or anything that we understood in the past. It's about what's in front of us now. You see, yes, there's a future kingdom coming, but God made us alive now, and he wants us to know him now so that he can do the work that he wants in and through us now. And we're moving into this new season. We're transitioning. What happened, happened. It's done. It's over. There's new things he wants to show us. And that's going to require that we as believers spend time getting to know our God better than we've ever known him before. And brothers and sisters, this is a call from the Lord that we must begin to give him what he deserves. He paid the price for us. We're no longer ours. Paul says, you've been bought with a price. You are not your own. We now belong to the Lord Jesus Christ, and we are his to do with as he pleases. But we need to give him that opportunity to teach us, first of all, who he is. You know, when you spend that time with the Lord, you're going to find God is so much different than your understanding of him made him out to be. And you're also going to find that God has some amazing things for you, and many times it's not what you thought it was. And the things that you know he's called you to, he's going to give you greater clarity. He's going to begin opening doors. This is a season of suddenlies, a season of the Lord beginning to push us into the things that he's called us to so that he can accomplish the work. He is visiting the earth in judgment to open the doors and prepare the way for his church and his people to move forth into the purposes of his kingdom now. And that requires that we, as his people, take the time to get to know him, to hear him, to understand what his heart is for us, and to move into those things in obedience. You see, intimacy doesn't stop when we open our eyes and walk out of our prayer closet. Intimacy continues from there into washing our dishes, doing our laundry, taking care of the issues at our jobs, paying our bills. We are still walking in intimacy with the Lord. You see, it's kind of like marriage. I will take time and spend with my wife, and it may be, a walk that we take. And that walk, we're talking to each other and just spending time with each other. And that's a time of intimacy. It's just the two of us, and we're getting to know things about each other and encouraging each other. But it doesn't stop when we stop the walk and walk in the house. The intimacy continues from there. It's just that little walk built on the intimacy. And that's how it is with the Lord. There's nothing more important in the Christian's life, and I mean nothing, than the time that we spend with the Lord every day alone. We have to take that time. We have to build that time, because it's in the secret, quiet place that we learn who He is, we hear His heart, and we grow in our understanding of Him. And God is calling us now to live in a new way. It's no more about a Sunday morning, about a Sunday service or a Wednesday service or this time of prayer or that time of prayer. It's a lifestyle. It's living with our God. And that's where we need to be heading in these coming days. Get to know your God and carry Him with you. After all, He's not a God who lives among us, that we go to visit. He actually lives in us. It's not that we can ever get away from Him, but we can shut Him down. And God said, I am through with the day of you shutting me down. I am your King, I'm your Lord, I'm your Redeemer, I am your owner. I need you and want you to walk with me in a continuous way, because there is work that needs to be done on this earth. So brothers and sisters, let me encourage you. Take time with the Lord. Begin to carve out time to just sit in His presence. Just listen to Him. Just get to feel Him. Know who your God is. You see, there's a table in our spirit man that God calls us to. It's His table. We go to that table to get to know Him. And at that table, we learn about Him. We get instruction from Him. We learn His heart. We commune with Him. We talk with Him. We cry with Him. But we also receive our instructions at that table. And from that table, God sends us out with Him to accomplish the things that He has for us. So I just want to encourage you today. Begin to make time for intimacy with the Lord. Begin to take time to get to know your God. He's far more than you ever imagined. And in that time with Him, you will also learn that you are far more than you ever imagined. God bless you.